Good morning, everybody, or maybe evening if you're in Australia. It's currently 5:30 a.m. here, so we are definitely early birds today. Now, I'm going to start this meeting and I'll just let everyone in as they pop up, or you may be watching this after. In either case, welcome and let's set some goals. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and we're going to start off with a block of 12-week goal setting. We want to start with the bigger picture so you know exactly what to work for in September. We don't necessarily want to just set small month goals that may flip-flop with different intentions. We don't want to start off with focusing on one goal of, for example, body recomposition for 1 month, and then one goal of just fat loss for 1 month, and one goal of going to the gym to grow muscle for 1 month, because 1 month is not long enough for really significant body composition change. We actually want to have a 12-week goal first and then break that down into smaller blocks so you can see how each month fits into the 12-week plan. For example, if your goal is to change your body composition by, say, 3 to 5 kilos across 12 weeks, then you may want to start off with the first month of just optimizing your diet and getting yourself ready for that change. It may be that you want to start going to the gym consistently so that you can actually implement your body composition change plan after the first 4 weeks. So the first 4 weeks are really integral to putting down the habits that you need to actually change your body instead of trying to dive in and do every single thing at once, which can be really overwhelming. And then you basically end up going backwards. You end up wanting to change your steps, wanting to go on a diet, wanting to do some meal prep. You've decided that you're not going to socialize ever again to be able to stick to your goal. And after 2 weeks, you're going to be really miserable. And you're not going to be able to actually achieve that goal. So we want to have a bigger picture idea, which we'll start off with today. And then you want to have a monthly idea as well. So you can break that down into 4-week blocks so it doesn't feel as overwhelming to have the big goal. And then we're also going to do a bit of planning on how to actually map your entire week, which you can do every single week. And in that week plan, we'll have, for example, your meals, your gym sessions, and then at the end of each day, a little reflection and a way to get yourself back on track and fix up anything that may be holding you back for achieving your month goal. So this will all make sense as we go through it, and you can work along in the background yourself. Alrighty, so we are going to start off with the 12-week goal setting template. So if you have not clicked on the link yet, you can grab this from your email. Otherwise, you can work along in the background. You can do this with the notes on your phone. You can do it on your computer. You can just do it with good old-fashioned pen and paper. Whatever suits you suits me. So let's start off with the 12-week goal, the big picture. So this is September, October, November. Where would you like to be when we get to December? This is what you need to write on the 12-week outcome goal. The difference between an outcome goal and a process goal is that the outcome goal is what you want to achieve. It's the thing that you have in your mind. It's like the overall, I want to lose 3 kilos, or I want to be lifting so much more in the gym than I am now. Or it may be, I want to change my body composition and gain some muscle. I want to change my body by 5 kilos. Whatever the thing is, pop it in here. Now, I just want to say, to be realistic, if you do have a body composition goal, what I recommend is aiming for no more than 500 to maybe 1 kilo of fat loss per week. And this depends on you and your body weight. If you are, say, 100 kilos, it's very realistic to lose 500 grams up to 1 kilo per week. That's 0.5 to 1.0% body weight change per week. If you are 80 kilos, it's very realistic to aim for 400 grams to 800 grams per week. Again, that's 0.5% to 1%. So it's in a very realistic and healthy range of fat loss. If you are 70 kilos, 65 kilos, if you're on that lighter end of looking at overall weight, Again, just adjust your realistic goal. So it's around, say, 350 grams to 700 grams if you are 70 kilos. And while it would be nice to get the top end of the range every single week, it does not work like that. So please do be realistic when you're looking for your overall 12-week goal. If you are 60 kilos, you're not losing 10 kilos in 12 weeks, and nor should you want to. So pop in your 12-week outcome goal here. Then we're going to put in why this matters to me. Why do you want to achieve this? Being able to link the outcome goal with the emotions behind it is going to help frame it. It's going to help motivate you. So, for example, if your 12-week outcome goal is to look a certain way, or if we're looking at body composition, which most people in the membership doing this are looking at body composition. If we're looking at body composition goal for the 12 weeks, why this matters to me, it's not just going to be because I want to fit into a bikini. It's going to be because I want to feel confident, because I want to look the way I train. You know, I put all the effort into training and I want this to be reflected in the way I look. I want to feel confident in my body. It's going to be deeper than just want to look good in bikini. So have a think about it. You don't have to share this with anyone. This is entirely you. Tap into the emotions that are actually driving your 12-week outcome goal. Maybe the 12-week outcome goal is to go to the gym more and to be fitter. Why this matters to you might not just be so I can do some chin-ups. It might be to model really healthy behaviors for my children. You know, like go a few levels deeper and keep asking yourself why you want to achieve something. Not because on the surface level that you think it's going to look good or sounds good. Why do you want that? And just keep going down the list until you can't ask why anymore. Lastly, what success will look like at the end of the 12 weeks. How is this measurable? How will you know you've achieved your 12-week goal? This is very simple. When you're looking at body recomposition, you're potentially going to be measuring and looking by your weight, maybe looking by circumference measurements, maybe looking by photos. If the goal is more around how you look, then likely photos will actually be the best comparison point for you. So I'd be recommending to take your first initial measurements today, maybe tonight, maybe first thing tomorrow morning, whenever you're listening to this, just the next available opportunity. Take your initial progress measurements, and then you can compare as you go along your 12-week journey, and you can adjust the plan as you need to. So body composition is very simple. You can mark off what that will look like at the end of the 12 weeks. If your goal is a strength training goal, what success will look like is by lifting, say, 20% more. So you're going to be wanting to record your gym sessions and know where you're at now, so you can compare in 12 weeks and know what the difference is. That's step one done. So if you need more time and you're watching this on the recording after, just simply pause this and work this out. Next is the key behaviors or the process goals. The key behaviors, the process goals, are the way you are going to achieve your outcome goal. So lots of the time when people set their outcome goal, they'll say things like, lose weight, walk 10,000 steps per day, go to bed at 9 p.m., go to the gym 5 times a week. That is not an outcome goal. Losing weight is the outcome goal, or body composition change is the outcome goal. The process is the way you get there. So if you're writing down processes in the 12-week goal, you've just got them in the wrong spot. You just need to pop those down into the key behaviors instead. So to achieve your weight loss goal or your body composition goal, I will tell you now that your number one priority is actually to stick to the nutrition. So that is sticking to the nutrition first and foremost above all else as your step one in this identifying key behaviors. If your goal is strength gain, fitness, achieving a certain fitness outcome, like say learning to run 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, your process goal is doing the exercise sessions. That will be the way to get to your 12-week goal of being able to run 5Ks. If you do not do the running sessions, you won't be able to achieve the 12-week goal. You can't just go from nothing, do nothing the whole 12 weeks, and then magically be able to run 5K. Your key behaviors or your process goals are doing your planned exercise sessions. So, key behaviors. What are you going to do to get there? Typically, this will be, as I mentioned, nutrition, sticking to calories and protein in particular. Your gym sessions, if it's a fitness-based goal, and then if your goal is something else for your 12-week goals, whatever you need to do, potentially whatever you need to change from what you're doing now to be able to achieve that 12-week goal. So that should go in there as well. There's one more thing I wanted to pop in the process goals. After you put in here, for example, your protein and your calories, I want you to write next to it the habits that are going to help you achieve the process goal. Now, this is when things like meal prep come in or food shopping online. Whatever you can do that makes it easier for you to do the process, that goes in the habits next to it. People often will do this backwards. Like I said, they'll set in their 12-week goal, walk 10,000 steps per day. In the outcome goal, that is not the outcome. That is one of the process goals or the habits that's going to help you achieve the exercise to achieve the outcome goal. So we want to break it down in all the little steps because the habits are the things you have control over. You don't have control over the outcome goal. You have control over the habits and the key behaviors that are going to drive your success with the outcome goal. So the more often you can tick off your habits and your key behaviors for the day, for example, your Monday reflection might be, did I hit my steps? Did I go to the gym? Did I stick to my nutrition? Tick, tick, tick. That's one day that's taking you towards your 12-week goal then. So that's what we want to identify here and break it all down really nicely. Next, we want to focus on September. We're here to do some September goal setting, and September 1st lands on a Monday, which is just so perfect. So let's focus on 1 month in September. What will you do to move towards your 12-week outcome goal? Again, this can be quite simple depending on what your outcome goal is. If your outcome goal, for example, is 4 weeks body composition change within 12 weeks, then let's make it easier. 3 kilos body composition change within 12 weeks, then you know that each month you have to achieve 1 kilo body composition change, whether this is fat loss or muscle gain. So basically break down your 12-week goal into 3 segments, and one of those thirds can go in here. So your specific September goal might be to get part of the way or X amount of the way towards the 12-week goal. The behaviors you'll focus on in September will likely be drawn from these key behaviors here. And I would suggest to actually just pick 2 of these. Pick the biggest bang for your buck. You don't want to conflate all things as having equal importance. For example, sticking to your nutrition and sticking to the calories and the protein, that is going to have the biggest effect above and beyond all when you are looking for body composition change. If you do not achieve that, you can do 10,000 steps all you want. Nothing's going to change in terms of your physique. So don't put 10,000 steps per day as number 1 when the thing that actually is driving the change is the nutrition. So really hone in on the behaviors that are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck for September. So have a moment to think about that. Now, step 4, weekly anchors. My top priorities are, this can be very likely nutrition and exercise. It's probably going to be something along the lines of having all of my meals planned and prepped. It could just be making sure my breakfasts and lunches are done every day. You want to prioritize out of those behaviors what the things are that are most important. So with those 2 behaviors we picked, if you've picked exercise as being one of those really important things across the week, what are the most important things out of those exercise priorities? So top 1, 2 priorities might be doing my 3 planned sessions at the gym 3 times per week, plus having all of my breakfasts and lunches meal prepped for biggest bang for my buck. You've then got potential barriers here. Now, barriers are normal. There is no such thing as the picture perfect week where you have your work, your sleep, your social events, everything dialed in perfectly. That would be like once out of every year. So we need to recognize that barriers are normal, and naming them makes it easier to overcome them and problem solve. If you're looking in advance at your barriers and thinking, okay, so I've got really late meetings at work on Tuesday night. I know I'm going to come out of work at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and I'm going to be starving, instead of defaulting to, I'll figure that out when the time comes, and then the time comes, and then you're tired, you're not motivated, you're craving whatever the food is down the road, and you go and get takeaway. Instead of going down that pattern, we want to identify and name now what the barrier is, what's going to happen with it, and how you can handle it. So, taking just 2 minutes to think about it at the start of the week for the whole week, and looking at, for example, disrupted schedule, extra busy days, days that you have to, for example, leave really early to get to the office or put something in before work. So you may not have time to do your breakfast and lunch that morning, and then how you'll handle them. Of course, this is individual, everyone has their preferences, but some key things that make things really easy are to do some simple meal prep the night before. Sometimes stripping things back and making them less complex and not having a meal with 20 ingredients is the easiest way to overcome the barriers. So, not thinking that you have to get up in the morning and prep cooked vegetables, your omelette, your amazing sourdough toast, which is a beautiful breakfast, but it's going to take you 20 minutes. Instead, going, okay, I'll do some overnight oats instead. Will be a little bit more boring, and it's going to make it much easier to stay consistent. So put in your priorities with the potential barriers and how you'll handle them. And just a heads up that we'll do this in a second with a full week plan, which you also have access to. Step 5 is do a daily check-in. So we're not going to do step 5 now. You should have done steps 1 to 4 now. Do a daily check-in at the end of each day. That can be 30 seconds. We go, did I stick to my process goals? Yes or no? Why not? What happened? What will I do better? So I've got these worked out for you here. And again, you can put them in the weekly planner if you want to use the weekly planner, which I do recommend because, like I said, taking 2 minutes to think about the week is going to make things so much easier. Lastly, accountability. Who or what will keep you accountable this month? And how will you track progress? With accountability, I recommend a who instead of a what. So having an app in your phone is all well and good. Having a habit tracker in your phone is all well and good. But that just means you're accountable to yourself and no one's going to be checking in on you. You also don't have maybe that slight sense of embarrassment when you tell someone that you didn't do what you said you were going to do. So pick someone to keep you accountable this month. It could be a partner, it could be a friend, it could be your gym buddy. Now, tracking progress, you have apps, you have journals, you have good old-fashioned pen and paper. This is individual with what you're tracking. If you're tracking your nutrition, obviously something like MyFitnessPal. If you're tracking physical body composition changes, you can do that in multiple different formats, but there's that whole section in progress within the app when you can do your photos, you can do your circumferences. I recommend if you are doing body composition change as your goal to track your waist, your hip, your glute, your chest, and do that once a week. This is not because we're expecting crazy changes every single week, once per week, but it's going to allow you to track trends over time. And then, for example, if you do get particularly bloated during 1 month of your cycle each month, you'll be able to see this and it will stop you from being reactive with your nutrition, deciding the plan's not working, and then going backwards and sabotaging yourself. Having the data allows you to be really analytic and you can see the 4 weeks worth of data and you can see that, for example, your waist was starting here and then it went down in your first week of the diet, down in the second week, maybe down in the third week, then back up in the fourth week as you get bloated and you retain fluid before your period. Then you have all that data, and then in week 5, you can see it goes down again, down again, down again. Then it might go up again in week 8, just like it did in week 4. So data is just data. It allows you to analyze. It allows you to see what's happening over time. And we want to look at the trends over time. We don't really care about the week to week, but it's important to have the week to week to be able to see what's happening. Okay. That is the main bulk of the goal setting done for the 12 weeks and September. And I want to talk you through the weekly planner as well. So if you have any questions, by the way, just pop questions in the chat box here. We are going to jump into the weekly planner example, and I'm going to leave this on edit view in Canva. You are able to make a copy of this with the link that I put up for the goal setting, and you can edit it within Canva as well if you like to have the digital version of it. Otherwise, you can do your own version of this if you want to do this, pen and paper right now. Oops, bear with me. I've just expanded my goal setting. Okay, cool. Hopefully you can see this all right if I have it zoomed in like this. So with your weekly planner, this is just a basic template, Monday to Sunday. So we've got 7 days here. I've actually divided this up into 4 sections. Early morning, 5 to 9 a.m. Morning, 9 a.m. to 1. I popped lunch in here, but I'm not telling you when to eat. You can eat at 1 p.m., you can eat at 12, you can eat at 2 p.m., whatever suits you, of course. I've just popped this in as a guideline. Afternoon, between 1 and 5, snack time. Evening, 5 to 9 p.m., dinner. You want to pop in your exercise sessions. Now, I've written here time, type, and where. Just writing, I will exercise at Tuesday lunchtime leaves you open for so much confusion and too much planning, essentially. You get to the point and you go, what am I doing Tuesday lunchtime? What am I doing? What time am I starting? What is the exercise session comprised of? Did I mean go for a walk? Did I mean go to the gym? Did I mean do my planned cardio session? Am I exercising from home? If you just write exercise at a random point, it's not going to happen. You actually need to write down exactly what you're doing so you have a clear plan in your head. And this is going to sound silly, but like you even know how much time to spend in the gym. You know what to wear for the gym because typically you'll have to wear something different if you're doing high intensity cardio versus doing low intensity weight sessions. I know I have to wear a different sports bra, for example, and I don't like doing cardio in leggings. So it will actually impact what you're wearing that day or wearing for your session. It will impact the length of time. So it'll also impact how planned you need to be for after your session. You know how much time you have between finishing gym and going to work or whatever time of day. So barriers to disruptions, as we discussed, keep in mind big day at work or anything else that you want to write in there. And then notes and reflections. This is for the end of the day. So at the end of the day, every single day, just write your reflections on your little wins. Also write what went wrong if you think anything went wrong or anything impacted your day. And then adjustments. So what you're going to do to mitigate what went wrong. And of course, some things are out of your control with what went wrong. Like if you're a mum and you've had the worst night's sleep in the world because your bub's having a sleep regression and you've ended up having 4 hours of sleep, there's nothing you can do to fix that. The only thing you can do is pop something in place to mitigate the blowback from that. So, for example, if you know you've had a bad night's sleep and you don't exercise first thing in the morning, then it's not going to happen for the rest of the day. You have to do it in the morning when you have higher energy. And this is personal, you could be different. So then you might say, don't wait till the afternoon to exercise, get it done first thing, just do 20 to 30 minutes. So that can be something small that you can do to mitigate the loss of sleep the night before. It can be that you switch to low intensity session instead of high intensity session if sleep's been really bad, and you put a backup plan in there. Um, Other adjustments, some obvious examples are, not being prepared with food. So if you didn't stick with your food all day, then your adjustment will be, I will prep tomorrow morning so that I can stick to my breakfast, my lunch, and my snacks. So again, really personal, and it just depends on you and what is going to help to make you stick to your plan. So you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to fill out every single thing here in terms of your breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner. That's just if you're someone who likes to plan everything out and have the exact same thing every day or mixed up across the day, and you want to be able to see on your weekly planner when to meal prep, when to buy food, which days are really busy so that you have to prep the day before, etc. So I've got an example here. Monday, early morning, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. I've written coffee, gym at 6 a.m., protein oats. So that's my plan for that bit of the morning. That's actually very reflective of my life. So the plan of my real life. Exercise session. Time, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Type, full body one. So that's your workout within your app that you're using. Where at the gym. So I've written in here, this is when this gym session is going to be. I can see visually then the gym session is going to be at that point in the day. And then more specifically, an exercise session, I've planned it out. So you don't have to do the full plan, but I do recommend it. At the end of the day, when you're reflecting on the notes, Reflections and wins, ate all meals as planned. Fantastic. Give yourself a big pat on the back. Adjustments, need more sleep. Then bed 30 minutes earlier. So you've done that reflection at the end of the night, and then you can go and you can act on that. You can go to sleep earlier, hopefully, depending on how many commitments you have in your everyday life. And you may have to make sacrifices for that. Maybe it's a little bit less Netflix. So hopefully this all makes sense. You can make it, I'll leave this as an editable version as well within Canva. That way, if you do prefer just using a digital version, you can just do this before you print it off. You can change your meals to suit you. So this is everything in terms of the goal setting and the week to week. I recommend also in your week example to pop in where you need to meal prep. So I've said, for example, Wednesday, barriers and disruptions, meal prep finishes, need to make more breakfast than I planned for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever the thing might be. Also identify in your barriers and disruptions any social events or meals out, pop in any travel or shift changes, any work deadlines, any sleep or routine disruptions that you expect. Routine disruptions are the thing that feel like they want to throw us off the bandwagon. But if you have them here and you can see them, there is nothing that will stop you because you can identify it and you can work around it. And at the very least, you can make sure the rest of your day is pretty perfect for you to achieve your goals. So hopefully that all makes sense. I've got this all for you to print off. You can do this as many times as you want for the goal setting for September. You can repeat this in October and November if you like the format of it. And then, as I recommend, doing this weekly planner each week and seeing if that helps. So in this live call, does anybody have any questions they want to pop into the chat? Otherwise, I will end the conversation in a few moments. I should say as well, if you do need any more help with your goal setting, your planning, and the barriers and disruptions, for example, please just pop this in the forum. If you're watching this after and you set a goal, you want to know if it's realistic, you want my help with your weekly planner, please do just pop a question in the help forum. I check this regularly and I'll get back to you to help you work out what to do around barriers and disruptions, how to modify exercise sessions if you need to, and how to change nutrition if you need to as well. Okay, so Rochelle, you said you're having trouble downloading the planners from the link in the email. So what I've done in Canva is I've actually shared it like this. So I've shared it with public view link so that you can jump in and make a copy of it. If that is not working to make a copy and then edit it, I will do a blank PDF as well, if that works for you. So hopefully that will fix it. And maybe I'll pop in a template link. I need to learn how to use every single thing in Canva. I always just use it for making my templates and my Instagram assets and then downloading them. So I will pop in a link that you can edit it and make a copy. And I'll also pop in a blank PDF version so you can do pen and paper. Okay, awesome. Perfect. Problem solved. We will do that. Thank you so much for coming along. It's been nice to have you here. And then for everyone who is watching this after, I hope this was really helpful as well. Like I said, any questions, anything else that comes up after, please do pop them in the forum. But otherwise, have a lovely day or night.